In this video, we're going to be breaking down a beautiful trade I had on Euro USD, resulting in about a 1 to 8 risk reward. You guys are going to want to stick around for this one. I'm going to show you guys a great little entry model to use for confirmation entries, and let's jump into the charts. Hey guys, thanks for joining me back on the charts. I'm going to keep this sweet, and I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible. This is a beautiful trade on Euro USD, and the cool thing about this was I was talking to the community. I wanted to see longs into shorts, and that's exactly what happened. I'm gonna break down why I decided to go for the longs and my reasons behind them. And then I'm gonna show you guys a little confirmation type entry that you can use instead of going off of just the 15-minute order block or the 5-minute order block or whatever it may be. So it's just about utilizing the lower time frame confirmation entry to just get more confirmation on the trade that you were already planning on taking. So when I'm looking at Euro USD here on the hourly chart, I can obviously see that we do have buy side liquidity residing above these highs. I can also see though that we have taken out this buy side liquidity pool here without real, we haven't had a real pullback yet, right? We've had this big bullish move. We took out buy side liquidity. And even though I did think there was a chance that this high right here was going to get taken out, I'm also realizing that we have mitigated the extreme of this order block, and there is a retracement that could potentially happen, because when I'm looking at this, I see a lot of sell side liquidity, right? We have these lows down here. So we've taken buy side liquidity. Where is sell side going to be? It's going to be below these lows, right? So that was kind of my thoughts. But with where we were in price, it was an area of interest for me that I was expecting a long from. Now, that long didn't mean it had to go from here all the way up to here. This long for me was setting up shorts, right? So this long for me was trading the retracement into the sell, which ended up happening perfect. So who knows what the RR on that day could have been. I was happy enough with the obviously 8R on a trade, and if I went for the shorts, yes, it ended up working out, but at the same time I was thinking to myself, if I'm still going for a trade after hitting an 8R, punch me in the face. So anyway, let's just jump into it. So we have the 1 hour order block right here. This is an area of interest for me. And if we looked at DXY, it also had an hourly order block right here, right? So I was anticipating a reaction from this area. We can also see that we have a nice sell side little pool right here that goes and creates equal lows here, right? So now we've created equal lows within the point of interest that I'm looking to long out of, right? So when I'm seeing this, all I want to do is see this get taken out, right? I want to see these equal lows get taken out of the market. And when I'm looking within this hourly POI here, I can see there's a 15-minute order block within this hourly order block, right? So I've refined the hourly order block to the 15-minute, and this 15-minute order block right here is the one that broke structure here. So I'm thinking this is going to be inducement for this order block, right? Like I said earlier in the video, I wanted this POI to sponsor shorts, right? So I wanted this POI to give us a long into the shorts to take down into this liquidity pool here. That was my whole analysis for the day. Yes, there was a chance that this could go up here. So this was also not only just a retracement play, but this was also a hedge for if I did decide to take this short. If I took this short and lost, I would still have my long running, right? So it was like the best of both worlds kind of setup, right? So I'm going to mark off this order block up here because this is the order block that I was looking at to take shorts into. So I'm only looking for longs from this angle, from this area to this area, right? That's it. Sorry guys, it cut out on me there. So if I hit play, you can see we come into this order block right here, which is beautiful. We've now taken out sell side liquidity here. We've mitigated the 5-minute, the 15-minute order flow that I'm looking for, the order block, sorry. And now I'm looking for a lower time from confirmation out of here. Yes, you could use this order block, and this is the whole point of the confirmation entry that I'm showing you guys here today. You guys can see here that this is a 15-minute order block that you could easily use. You could easily use this order block right off the limit if you did want. But I wanted a little bit more confirmation, and what I mean by confirmation is I wanted to jump to the lower time frame and see a lower time frame breaker structure out of this order block, showing me that it is a valid order block, right? And instead of putting faith in this order block that it's going to hold, I wanted to have a little bit more control, and I wanted to see price play out of the order block to give me confidence to take the trade to place the limit, right? So now that we've taken this sell side liquidity pool out of the market, now that we've mitigated this 5-minute order block, now I'm jumping to the lower time frames and looking for a shift in order flow. I'm looking for a shift in momentum, right? So if we're looking on the 2-minute time frame here, you guys can see right here, right off the bat, we have a 2-minute breaker structure, right? So I'm just gonna mark this out as BOS. Let me just put that on top. Why is this a breaker structure, you may ask? Because this high went and created a new low, and then we aggressively broke above it, right? So now we've had a shift in order flow. Now when this happens, it's 7 o'clock, so we're starting to come into New York, and this is when I'm starting to look for entries, right? I'm starting to look for entry criteria to take a position. So when I'm looking at this now, guys, and you know I like to preach liquidity, I like to preach when we take one side of the market, we're gonna be looking for the other side of the market. If I'm asking you this right now, where is opposing liquidity gonna be? Well, it's gonna be above this high right here, right? It's gonna be above these highs right here, right? So there's a ton of buy side liquidity residing in the market, and I'm anticipating a move into this area to look for shorts, right? So all I'm doing now, guys, is I'm waiting for price to start to create some more inducement, start to break structure, right? So now we've broken to the upside even more, and I'm jumping down to the 1-minute time frame now to see if there's any refined areas that I can look for to enter, right? So if I'm looking at the market right now, all I can see is we're building even more buy side liquidity, right? So that's amazing, that's great. We wanna see this when we're looking to take a position in that direction, right? We wanna see opposing liquidity. When I'm looking at this as well, I see a nice little order block that people will be using as inducement, right? And a lot of times SMC traders will have extremely like 1-pip stops, right? And a lot of them would be like, okay, well, this is the order block that caused the move, so I'm just gonna have my stop loss right here, right? There's people that trade that way. And if you do trade that way, I'm not knocking it at all, because I'm sure there's a lot of you that do succeed that way, but to me, this isn't what I want to see, right? So now I have this area as inducement, right? And I've talked about this in the previous breakdown videos. If you guys want to go see that, it's just like inducing early people into the market. It's that liquidity being built above or below your order, right? Sorry, I couldn't even speak there. But when I'm looking at this right here, obviously I see this 1-minute order block of interest, right? If we look on the 2-minute as well, it's also a 2-minute wick rejection, right? So I like to say with wicks, they represent liquidity, right? Because it's a stop, and then we rip the opposing direction. So we know there is liquidity within the wick. So not only now are we still entering out of the 15-minute order block that we wanted to from before, but now we have that extra confirmation. Even more buy side liquidity has been built, and we're able to get an even smaller stop loss on this trade, right? On the exact same trade that I was looking to get in before, but just with a smaller stop loss, a more refined stop loss. We can see we have an hourly order block like I talked about here. My stop loss was like 3.5 pips, maybe a little bit less. And that's just protecting this low, because this has already been mitigated, right? I don't have to have my stop all the way down here. You can if you want, but this order block now has been mitigated at 50%, which is, I consider, fully mitigated. So now I'm looking to take this trade up into these highs here, right? Up into this area. I had my final target up here, okay, which was over 1 to 8, which it did end up going to, and I'll show you in a second. But I ended up closing my trade at this supply zone at about a 1 to 8. It was like a 7.8, whatever it is, okay? It might have been over 1 to 8. I'll have to check. But either way, I was okay with taking my position off at these highs, and I'll show you guys why. So we hit play. Boom, we come in, we get tagged, and this thing rips all the way there. Boom, right? So we can see this thing runs all the way to a 1 to 8. I ended up closing it at this consolidation at this high, just due to the fact that I said this to the community. If I'm up 1 to 8 and you guys see me trying to get a 1 to 9, please punch me in the face, please, because that's when greed is just at an all-time high. And this was beautiful because you guys can see, if you wanted to take this out of the 15-minute order block, you definitely could have. But to add even more confirmation, I just jumped down to the lower time frame. And you guys have been asking to see a lower time frame confirmation entry video for a while, because I used to do them on the channel before. And I'm starting to reintroduce them into my trading just to have a little bit more confirmation on the order blocks that I'm using. And we can see obviously that this hits take profit, which is absolutely beautiful. And I will also show you guys that the order block that I was looking at to sell from, so imagine let me just go back for a second, guys. Imagine I kept this long on there, right? Like I planned. And then I wanted to sell from this 5-minute order block up here, right? We can see now, if we're looking at the market in terms of liquidity, we now have this high here, right? This is what I was looking at. Beautiful. So now we have an inducement because people are going to be looking to sell here, right? But like I said before, I want to see liquidity below my entry if I'm looking for shorts. And within this 15-minute order block, if I'm on the 5-minute, I see this refined 5-minute order block, which is responsible for this move down. If I had to put my entry on here, which is where it was, my stop loss just had to be above the daily open, above this order block. And if I target it all the way down here for like a 1 to 6, we can see that's exactly what happened if I just hit play. Boom, and it drops. So this day on Friday was read absolutely perfectly, all called out beforehand, and that's what we love to see, right? And I talked to you guys before about the month of March being incredible for me and the team in terms of reading price. The only thing that was frustrating is it was slower because we weren't getting tagged into our positions, because a lot of it was just stop and go, right? And not a lot of pullbacks. It was just leaving without us. We had a bunch of swerve limits. But Friday was a day that, if you guys saw the ARM Trading Community Instagram, I'll leave a link in the description. The boys and the girls absolutely slayed it on Friday, which is awesome to see. And it feels so good. So I just wanted to break down this trade that I took on Friday. I thought it was a great way to end Q1, and it's a great way to head into Q2. And just reading price, great, guys. Just reading price, absolutely great. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade breakdown video. I get asked about them a lot, and I know there's some of you guys who don't like seeing them. There's a lot of you who obviously trade your own styles. So if you are watching this simply to support me, I really, really appreciate you. But there's still a great amount of people that take a lot of value from this. And I like to post free information as well, not just the mentorship stuff. So if you are interested in joining the mentorship and you want to see a deeper dive into how I trade and how I teach all this kind of stuff, then the link will be in the description of the video. But if you just want to continue to watch the free stuff, that's entirely up to you as well. There's still a ton of value in here too. So I appreciate you guys. What do I say at the end of every single video? Let's be 1% better every single day. And I will see you guys with a video on Wednesday. Take care.